Does your speech break down when you're under pressure? Now, pressure can mean different things to different people. What we mean by that is, for some people, pressure is speaking in front of a large group. For others, pressure could mean speaking in front of their managers or superiors, speaking to or in front of people that they don't know. For others, it's ordering food, it's giving their name, it's answering the telephone. I know for me, it used to be answering the telephone. I used to hate answering the phone, especially if I needed to give out information like my address or my phone number or my social. I used to hand the phone to my wife. So pressure can mean different things for different people. So the question is, does your speech break down under pressure? Are you able to say the things that you want to say, or does everything go out the window when you're under pressure? My name is Michael Williams. Thank you so much for spending this time with me in this video or audio if you're listening to this. I want to do a couple of things in this video. Number one, I want to give you a very, very special gift that I'm really excited about. And then number two, we're going to jump into the content, the meat of this particular video. So let me tell you about the gift. I'm going to offer you in this video one of my very, very best programs, a program that I've been using for a few years now with my coaching clients. It's also included in my course. It's called the 7 Steps to Quickly Achieve Smooth, Calm, and Confident Speech. I'm going to be offering that to you for free. I'm also going to be offering one of my very, very best programs that I'm not going to tell you about. It's a bonus, and it's a surprise. So when you register for this free course, the 7 Steps, you're going to see the bonus in there as well. And that's an audio-only program. So let me tell you what you're going to be getting, then we'll jump into the meat. You're going to get, for the 7 Steps, video and audio, and then you're going to get a PDF download that you can download that has all the 7 steps for quick reference. You're also going to get the 7 steps in an audio-only version in its own app. It's called Soundwise. It's an app that you can register for and download. It's absolutely free. You can listen to all of the audios. You can pause it, stop it. It bookmarks it. You can like it. You can leave comments. It's an amazing little application. I now have all of my programs there, as well as in a video version as well. Okay, so you're going to have access to both the video version and this audio version in its own application, plus the bonus. So I'm going to be sharing with you a link at the end of this video where you can get access to that. Now, who is this for? Well, the Pro 90D Smooth Speech System is only for people who want to become excellent speakers. Okay? So if you want to become, or if you want to just stop stuttering, if that's just, you just want to stop stuttering, there's medication for that. You can do hypnosis. You can do all kinds of other things. This is probably not for you. Pro 90D demands more of you than what some other programs may demand or ask of you if you just want to overcome stuttering or manage it or control it. Pro 90D is designed for professionals or professionally minded people. Some of my very, very best clients are students. And Pro 90D demands from you and allows you to become an excellent speaker above average. And I have a specific example that I'm going to share with you later. Okay. So number one, watch this video and get access to the 7 steps plus an amazing bonus, absolutely free, but only if you're a professional or you're professionally minded. Number two, let's jump into the meat. What we're going to be talking about today is what to do when you're under pressure. Like, how can you speak smoothly, clearly, and confidently when you feel under pressure? And this all comes about because of something that we call the law of control. When you're under pressure and you're not able to say what you want to say, even if you've been going through a program and you have techniques and tools, and all of a sudden you're under pressure, you totally forget about those tools. They just go out the window and you revert back to your default way of thinking, feeling, and speaking. This is what happens to many, many people. So how can you handle that? Well, we find the answer in what we call the law of control. And some of you have heard me talk about this, and it's very, very important. And here it is. The law of control says that when you and I feel like we have control over our life or certain aspects of our life, when we feel like we have control, or when we do have control, we feel more confident. We feel better about ourselves. We feel more confident, and we usually perform better. So when you feel like you have control, for example, over your speech, you feel better about yourself. Your self-esteem is higher, and you feel more confident. And we all know that often, no, not all the time, but often when you're feeling good and you're feeling confident, you can often speak a lot better. Some people are completely fluent. Other people are mostly fluent. But when you feel good and you feel more confident, your speech improves. Okay? So, the question is, how can you gain more control, especially under pressure? How can you gain more control when you're under pressure? So keeping in mind this law, I'm going to be giving you a very, very specific thinking tool, as well as a speaking tool in a sense. In fact, I'm going to give you a set of tools that you can use, and you're going to hear me repeat this law of control in all of the following videos. You're also going to hear me repeat something that you have absolute control over. And we've talked about this before in other videos, right? So you'll hear me talk about this in the 7 steps and in the bonus program. So, number 1, you have to believe that you have control over at least these 4 things. What are they? Number 1, you have control over what you think. So in the moment, you're in there, you're talking, and your manager comes in. You're giving a presentation, you're answering the phone, you're introducing yourself. You have to believe that you have control over what you think, what you say to yourself, right? That your thoughts are not out of your control. You can control what you're thinking before, during, and after. You're thinking, what you say to yourself, what you think. Number 2, you're in control of your breathing. You can control your breathing, right? You can slow your breathing down. You can take more frequent breaths. You can breathe deeper. You can breathe more rhythmically. You can control your breathing, right? Number 3, you can control the rate of your speech. That is the speed, right? You don't have to speak fast. You don't have to speak fast. You can slow your speech down. You have to believe that you can control your rate of speech, your speed. Number 4, you can control your body language or your body movements. So some people, and I have a client that I'm working with right now who's doing an excellent job with this, young guy, do all kinds of secondary movements when they are speaking and they're trying to get their words out. Sometimes people blink their eyes. Sometimes they move their head. Sometimes their lips quiver. Sometimes they move their arms, right? And we do all kinds of things. I used to do all of that, right? And me and my client, we had a good laugh about it, right? I said, hey, you're doing that thing again. And he said, yeah. And I said, okay, now. And then we did, and then boom, he just went speaking smoothly, okay? You can control your body language. And even for those of you that might not stutter and might not do any of that stuff, you might not even know what I'm talking about. Sometimes people are just very stiff. They're very stiff. When they're under pressure, they become very stiff and they don't move at all. And so you can control your body language, your body movement. That is, you can use your hands if you want to. You can use facial expressions. You can move your head. Right now I'm standing relatively still, but if you watch some of my videos, you'll see me moving. You can move. You don't have to pace, but you can move, right? You can control your body. So 4 things that you have absolute control over, especially if you, number 1, believe it, and then 2nd, you begin to practice exercising control over these things. Number 1 is what? You're thinking, right? What you think, what you say to yourself. Number 2, you can control your breathing, and these are not in any particular order, but you can control your breathing. Number 3, you can control the speed, your rate of speech. And number 4, you can control your body. All of these things have an impact on your ability to speak smoothly and to speak well, okay? So that you don't hyperventilate, so that you don't become more anxious, so that you don't speak too fast, right? Speed kills. Remember that, speed kills. So all of these things have a huge impact on your ability to perform well under pressure, all right? So what we're going to do today is I'm just going to give you one thing that you can focus on, and then I'm going to direct you to this program, 7 steps, as well as the bonus, where we go deeper in this one thing. And then I'm going to record another video that you can watch where we talk about the 2nd step and the 3rd step and the 4th and the 5th and the 6th and the 7th, right? And we'll go deep. And sometimes we'll even go in and expand on different aspects of a particular step. So I may have, a couple of videos, 2 or 3 videos for one step. And I'll let you know. This video specifically relates to step 1. So step 1 in the 7 steps is to tell yourself, I don't have to rush. I can take my time and say what I want to say, right? So why is that so important? Well, number 1, you're controlling what you say to yourself, that you're actually saying something to yourself in the moment. This can be an affirmation that you say throughout the day. It can also be something that you say to yourself in the moment. Now, no, there's a negative in there where you say, I don't have to rush. Some of you may not want to include that, but others like to include it because it feels empowering. So you're not just saying, I don't have to rush, right? You're saying, I don't have to rush. I can take my time and say what I'm. So we finish it off with the positive, okay? So I know it breaks the rules a little bit, but it works. So here is the action that I want you to take from this video. Well, there's 2 actions, really, 3 actions. One action is to know that there's certain things you have control over. You have to believe it. You have to believe you have control over these things, and then you have to begin exercising control over those 4 areas that we talked about. Run those through your mind again. The second thing is that you want to begin to tell yourself, I don't have to rush. I can take my time and say what I want to say. Now, why is that even important? Why is it even important to tell yourself that? For some of you, for many of you, one of the issues is that you feel rushed. Even if you're not speaking fast, you feel hurried. You feel rushed. You may feel anxious. You may feel nervous, stressed, whatever you want to call it. And so when you feel rushed, whether you're speaking fast or not, then there's this tension, there's this pressure. Most of you can relate to this, that when you're by yourself and you're not self-conscious, that is, there's no one else there, so you don't really care what someone else might say or think because there's no one else there to say or think anything, or when you're with a dog or a child that you know is not going to judge you, then you can sometimes speak completely fluently, right? So what happens is when you become anxious or stressed, then your speech starts to shut down. You're not able to think. You're not able to say the things that you want to say. All of a sudden, you default to blocking and stuttering and stammering. So when you tell yourself, I don't have to rush, I can take my time, what you're doing is you're taking control over your speaking situation. You're taking back control. And remember, the law of control says that when you feel like you have control, you feel better about yourself, you feel more confident, and you will begin to perform better, right? So when you tell yourself, I don't have to rush, it doesn't matter how fast the people around me are speaking. Remember that. It doesn't matter what people will think of me if I slow down. Remember that. These are very, very important things for you to keep in mind. It doesn't matter how fast they're speaking. I don't have to rush. It doesn't matter what they might think of me if I speak slower, right? It doesn't matter if I feel like this is strange at first, because you will feel like it's strange if you've been used to speaking fast or you've been used to responding very, very quickly, right? So none of those things matter because you're saying, listen, I don't have to rush. I don't have to feel rushed, and I don't have to speak fast. I can take my time and say what I want to say. Say what I want to say the way I want to say it. So when you feel rushed, you will often speak too fast. You will often get short of breath. You will often start to feel more anxious, more tense, begin to stumble over your words. You will default to your normal way of thinking and speaking because your brain recognizes, oh, here's a situation, automatically goes back, looks at the memory, it says, oh, this is how we usually respond in this particular situation. Boom, spit it out, get it out, hurry up, people are not going to wait for you. If you start speaking slow, people are going to think it's weird, they're going to think you're being phony, so just let's get it out. And what it does is it's counterintuitive, it has an opposite effect to what you really want. You want to be able to communicate your thoughts and ideas, articulate your thoughts and ideas as smoothly, as concisely, clearly, confidently as possible. But when you're rushing and you're distressed, all of a sudden you're not able to do it. It takes you longer anyway, right? You're not able to get stuff out. People have to wait. You have to use different words. It's not as concise as you want. So you're not accomplishing your goal anyway. Here's what someone just told me. Just told me this. Client of mine, I'm going to post this video. He's been working at this for a few weeks now, making amazing improvements, and they're going to stick. They're going to stick. And he said that his mom told him, right? Now he's out on his own, but he was speaking with his mom, who's known him his whole life, obviously, right? His mom said, you know what? Your speech has become much more concise. When you're speaking, it's much more concise now. So even though he's speaking slower, his speech is more concise. I've seen this happen. I had a guy who was a PhD. He had to do this whole big presentation. So I don't know how long it was, at least an hour. And he told me that when he spoke slower and smoother, right, when he modeled, he found that he was able to finish the presentation sooner than when he was speaking faster, right? Because what happens is you don't have to use as many words, as many extraneous words. You can get right to the point. Okay? So slowing your speech down doesn't mean that it's going to take you longer to say what you want to say. Oftentimes, it will take you the same amount or less time. Okay? Your speech will be more fluent, more clear, and more concise. So it's very important that you begin to exercise the control that you actually have over your speaking situations. I go a little deeper into this throughout the whole 7 Steps program, but we talk about this in the first step, where you tell yourself, I don't have to rush. Doesn't matter what other people are doing, how fast they're speaking. It doesn't matter what other people think or say. I don't have to rush. I can take my time and say what I want to say. So I want to invite you to register for this program. It is absolutely free, no strings attached. It is going to be available for a limited time right now. We're going to just test this out. You enroll in this program if you're professionally minded or if you're a professional, and if you want to become an excellent speaker. So if you're just looking for tips and tricks just to, relieve yourself and not stutter, this is going to require more of you, and so it's probably not going to be of much interest to you. All right? Now, how can you get it? So I'm going to have a link posted in or around this video where you can go ahead and register and get access to these programs. Now, for those of you who are out there and you've been watching me, you've been following me for a while, or you just started following me, but you understand and you appreciate the value of working one-on-one with someone. You know that that's going to accelerate your time, right? Your progress. Then you're going to want to also get in touch with me and just set up a free conversation where you and I will assess where you're at now, assess where you'd like to be, and then talk about how we can work together to get you there. What we find is that when people work with me one-on-one or work with a coach, right? Right now, most of you will be working with me. You're going to get to smoother and more fluent speech, more confident speech, sometimes 10 times faster than working on your own. That is, you may be working on your own for years. The average is at least 2 years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And working with me can get you beyond where you are now. If you've been working by yourself, within a few months. Within a few months, right? So you got 2 or 3 months as compared to 2 or 3, 4 or 5 years. I'm not exaggerating here, right? This is just an average, because you're going to have that accountability, consistency. Now, you still have to do the work. Accountability, consistency. You're going to have someone personalizing and customizing the program for you. So some of you are going to want to do that now. You're going to want to book a conversation with me now. Others of you might want to sample this. You might want to test it out. You might want to get access. So then go ahead and click the link, get into this free program. I want you to get results. I want you to see that this can really work for you. Okay. So let me just share with you a little story, a very short story, and then we'll wrap this up. I told you I was going to share with you a specific example. You'll hear me talk about this person. His name is Jalal, lives in Turkey. And when we started with him, his speech was severe. And he literally arranged his life around his speech. You've probably heard, some of you at least have heard me talk about this. So he quit his job because it's just too much pressure, right? He moved to an apartment. He researched to find an apartment where he could order his food online so he wouldn't have to talk to anyone. He would have his mother and girlfriend make important phone calls for him, right? And he knew that he's a very, very smart guy, as you'll see. Very smart, very intelligent, very sharp, but he knew he had much more potential, and he got tired of feeling trapped. He got tired of feeling trapped in his own mind. He has ideas and things that he wants to do. He has potential, but his speech is standing in his way. Like, that's the only thing. So he found me online. He engaged me for coaching. We worked together for 3 or 4 months. He extended. He eventually got a job. And he's been working at that job for a little while now. Now, we worked together total for about a year, okay? And he got a job, and he began to get recognized at his job for what? For being an excellent presenter, believe it or not. So here's a guy who was stammering, stuttering severely. Now, some of you say, oh, well, Michael, this program just works for people who, maybe they're mild stutterers. No, this guy was severe. Okay, it works. Of course, it works for people who are mild, but it also works for people who are severe. So now here he is being recognized, because Pro 90D is designed to help you become an excellent speaker and presenter, conversationalist too. People are coming up saying, "You're an excellent presenter. I love that presentation." And here's what he just told me. And he was selected out of all of his colleagues. He was selected to represent his company, right, and his country in the United Nations. Just told me that yesterday. He's going to create a little video for us. Can you imagine that? Just a year ago, this guy was living and avoiding because of his speech, and now he's going to be representing his company and country, speaking and sharing his ideas. Now, I've had other people who've done amazing things as well, and this story can be yours too. This story can be yours too. You got to be willing to do the work. You have to trust the process. You have to follow my advice, my counsel. If I say, hey, work on this, focus on this, you have to do it. I can't make you do it, you have to do it. But if you do, I can promise you that if you do this, you can begin to see incredible, amazing results. I hate to use those words, but really it is incredible if you think about where you're coming from. So thank you so much for watching this video. Go ahead and register for the 7 steps, plus this amazing bonus, and continue to follow these videos. And for those of you that want to accelerate your progress, don't sit out there and wait and lose time trying to figure this out on your own. Work with me one-on-one, accelerate the process. You're investing in yourself, and you'll get that investment back, often monetarily, in jobs and promotions. But can you put a value on feeling free, on having better social life, better relationships, better jobs, better opportunities, better income? You can put a price on that, but can you put a price on those other things? Thank you so much for watching this video. We're going to continue with this series to go deeper into the subject. We talked about the law of control. We talked about You're having control over your speaking situations. 4 areas you have control over. We talked about an affirmation for you to tell yourself in the moment. And I said that you can go deeper in the 7 Steps program. So I'll see you there. My name is Michael Williams.